Lucas stall out them pint bottles out granny crib. I poured so much I ain't want to live. Told money then, shit we in the wind. I was in the hood when I clipped the bin. Since a young nigga I been real. Went glass house on every Chevy. In this game I tried plenty settings. It's all or nothing. How niggas been. Got sucker niggas, keep suckers with them. One of the reasons I ain't fucking with them. Trish Tech and some more than her. Yeah, she couldn't even afford a winner. I'm open late, don't need a scale, and it's always over. Sneak wishing well, I double down, slick shit to spell. Shawty know I don't kiss and tell. I'm faded, 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 faded. I'm faded, 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 faded. Yeah, I'm faded, 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 faded. I'm faded, faded, faded.
Jason, what it do? Lori, what it do, man? What's going on? What's going on? Double tap the screen.
She loving me again. I let her cry out the bins and they say time heal. I still feel like it was yesterday. I was moving fast, probably too fast to even catch the play. Spent a night, she pack a bag right to me, just getting gas. Cover bag, I want it bad. I'ma touch it first. Eat the last, it's temporary. Holly damn emotion said it's temporary. My pain deeper than the ocean. Temporary feelings mixed with temporary pleasures. All these temporary moments and these temporary treasures. Temporary circumstances to temporary measures. Temporary friends and even temporary schedules. Temporary smiles and temporary goals. Temporary women sliding on temporary poles. Temporary comments and temporary trolls. I just pray that God bless me. Ain't no temporary souls. I'm a saint, but I sin. I checked in the game and when I left, she loving me again. I let her cry out the bins and they say time heal. Mine still feel like it was yesterday. I was moving fast, probably too fast to even catch the play. Spent a night, she pack a bag right to me, just getting gas. Coming back, I want it bad. I'ma touch it first. Eat the last, it's temporary. Holly damn emotion said it's temporary. My pain deeper than the ocean.
All right, chat, man. Double tap the screen. Shut a live out, man. Cypher, what it do? Mama Money, what it do? Tony Toast, I see you in there. Don't hate, don't wait. Toast 2028, Vice President, man. What we doing? OG, what's going on? Y'all double tap the screen for me. We finna get straight into it, man. We're about to get straight into it. You saying the out they saying he's not dead? Well, Wikipedia updated their page, man. You know, once Wikipedia put that on you, it's over with, man. They said Trump seen a picture, and got the confirmed kill, man. Trump seen this man dead.
Welcome to the greatest damn show on YouTube. Welcome to the greatest damn show on YouTube.
Oh, man. Double tap the screen, shut a live out. What we doing tonight, chat? Double tap the screen, shut a live out. What we doing tonight, chat? They saying the Ayatollah death confirmed. Stability in the region is gone. We got planes fleeing Israel, and we have blockades. We're going to cover a lot right quick on this pop-up episode, man. Weekender plug in the building. Dual stream plug in the building. Political plug in the building, man. What are we doing tonight, chat? They're saying not only is the Ayatollah dead, but 5 to 10 of the people surrounding him are dead. Everybody, the successors, man, they not only got the Ayatollah out of there, the successors are out of there too. So they're saying it may be a military leader to take over. We're going to get into that. How will that play out? Be sure to get to the poll, answer the poll, tell me what's up. Double tap the screen, drop some comments, man, to hit the algorithm, man. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's get straight into it.
With the Israeli assessment that the Ayatollah is dead, along with 5 to 10 other top Iranian leaders who were all meeting at a compound in Tehran today. Let's bring in Mark Levin now, host of Life, Liberty, and Levin. Jump in on the coverage and the breaking news. Welcome.
Well, a couple of things. First of all, this is a big deal. Khomeini's dead. Like Hitler was killed or killed himself. This is a big deal. Now, we do know how this government is created. There's been many papers written on this. It runs like...
So I see what y'all are saying. Ayatollah's not dead. Where are y'all seeing Ayatollah's not dead? I seen the video circulating on X where they said the Ayatollah was giving a speech, but that was a speech from earlier this month, man. The Ayatollah's finito, man. I don't think he's here anymore.
Like the mob. He created a government that is loyal to him. He made all the calls, all the shots. So you have these guys negotiating over here, They had no control over anything. And while they were negotiating, we're making progress, he was giving a speech in Farsi saying, we're keeping our nukes, we're keeping our uranium, we're keeping our ballistic missiles, and that is that. And this is what they do. That's number one. Number two, he had a successor. It was his son. And we believe his son was killed too. Number three, the whole loyalty apparatus to him is gone. It's like
The thing about them unaliving his son is they're saying that they unalived the children first. Like, so his successors were unalived first and then he was unalived. So I wonder, did he get news that his children were already dead? Like, did he die with that on his mind? Like, damn, my kids just died now. You know, I just wonder those.
mob. That's the way he built this thing. And he had an inner circle, then a next circle, then he had the military circle, and he...
Iran's not broadcasting any news right now, Tony. I do not believe. We can check out with a couple of the other outlets, but you remember, Iran wasn't letting anything come in and out. Pretty much all of the updates that we were getting from Iran were coming from the Ayatollah on Twitter. He was giving the updates. The foreign ministers were giving the updates, and that was pretty much it. We weren't getting much from news over there.
Build it that way so these people would be loyal to him, and he used his fundamentalist ideology.
They said Israel hacked a app. They said Israel hacked an app over there and sent out a message to 2 million Iranians to turn down their weapons and, you know, overtake the government and shit.
As the basis for promoting his personal power. That's exactly what he did. So they can be defeated. They may have somebody lined up, but they're not going to have the loyalty that he had. That's number one. Number two, what is all this off-ramp stuff? I mean, when you're in a UFC fight, it ends one of two ways. You beat the crap out of the guy and he's knocked out, or they surrender.
Yeah, H. Buster Kamani did, man. That video of him speaking, I'm telling you, that was circulating. That's not really him, man. They're saying Kamani's out of there, man. He's not talking. He's, you know, gone. So
now, if they want to unilaterally surrender, then that's fine. Like with the Japanese, they wouldn't unilaterally surrender, so Truman put an end to it his own way, all through World War II and so forth and so on. You want to end a forever war, you end a forever war. And these guys are losing. As far as I'm watching our network and other networks, their response is utterly ineffective. They're shooting shotgun blasts. They're hitting their own allies. Their allies are turning on them. I don't see mass casualties in Israel. I don't see mass casualties anywhere. Like they're...
I'm not gonna lie, I did see some debris and shit. Some shit blew up, cars looking all a little boneless over there in Israel. I did see that.
Like, nothing like there was in June. So I'm using my own mind, my eyes and my ears, and I'm saying they're getting the crap kicked out of them. The top echelon was knocked out. The supreme leader is supreme no more. He's supremely dead. And that whole infrastructure's been attacked. The whole top infrastructure's been attacked. The Israelis accomplished that. Our military's beating the hell out of various objects of our that we're targeting, military and so. This is number one, a massive success so far. A massive success. These Arab countries are backing us. They're literally backing Israel. Number two, Khomeini's gone. He's the key. He's the mobster boss. Number three, I know the media and the Democrats, they want an off-ramp, I don't even like that phrase. When did we start using that phrase? We're in the middle of a war. Oh, we have an off-ramp. Off-ramp? Let them find an off-ramp. It's very easy. We surrender. That's the off-ramp. Now, one other thing. These Democrats, they support illegal aliens, criminals, and our terrorist regime. They're sitting there trying to figure out how to sabotage the President of the United States and the United States military in the middle of a war that we're winning. And Schumer says, we're going to call everybody back and have an emergency meeting about what? Under Article 2, Section 1, the President of the United States is Commander-in-Chief. Under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 11, Congress can declare war. Okay, they can declare it or not declare it. And they've only declared it 11 times in our history. The last time was World War II. They didn't have a problem when Clinton was dropping bombs and Obama was dropping bombs and Biden was dropping bombs. No problem. The fact of the matter is, the War Powers Act of 1973, every administration, Democrat and Republican, have believed that that is utterly unconstitutional. Congress and the president have not brought this matter before the Supreme Court because they don't really want it resolved. Yeah. But when I watch Democrats come on and say, this is unconstitutional, this is an illegal war, and we keep quoting this guy, Massey. Massey is an extreme libertarian. Or Rand Paul, an extreme libertarian. Or what's this guy, Ro Khanna? Ro Khanna is a pure Trump hater. These aren't constitutional experts, in my opinion. They're not even serious people. The president has every bit of constitutional and legal authority to do exactly what he is doing. And by the way, notice, who took out Khomeini? Who's taking out the leadership? Who's assassinating them? The Israelis. Why? Yeah. Because it's a question under American law whether you can do it. So they're very careful. This has been lawyered. What the Democrats are doing is they're looking for any possibility to do what? To sabotage our military, the commander-in-chief, and this country as we are successfully waging a war against a tyrant who's killed over 1,000 Americans, maimed thousands of Americans, wanted nuclear weapons to blow us off the face of the earth. We should be celebrating this. Yeah, if this isn't to unite us, what the hell is going to?
Hey, Mark, if I could, let's get back to the breaking news here, and that is the Israeli assessment and that the U.S. concurs that Khomeini is dead. And what comes next after this? We talked about the idea that there may be a long line of successors of clerics who are just lined up ready to go after this. But there comes a point as well that if you look and you see that the top leadership has been decapitated, then the rank and file of the levels below say, you know what, this is not worth it. And you have the overwhelming momentum of the Iranian population that has bristled against the repressive tactics of this regime, and they want something different. And they maybe all get together, and then you reach critical mass, and there's an overthrow, as there was in Iran back in 1979. That said, I remember in Iraq, well, the problem is Saddam Hussein. If we get rid of Saddam Hussein, everything will be great. And as we saw, it went to hell in a handbag. So what do you see as the possibilities here?
Chat, be sure to hit the like button on your way in. We're 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. We're going to go watch the UN right after this. We're going to get in and see what the UN is saying, who's condemning it, who's supporting it, man. Chat, I need everybody to hit the like button right now and subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe and tell me you subscribe, I'm going to shout you out, man. We're 25 away, man. Let's go.
You know, I find all these analogies to be a little troublesome. No situation is exactly the same. In a military operation, like a sporting event or anything else, you press your advantage. We have the advantage now. It's not even close. So we're going to stop, and we're going to say, we need an off-ramp. We're going to stop and say, well, maybe we can negotiate victory or complete surrender without conditions. That's why we have our men and women on the line, their lives on the line. That's why the Israelis.
All right, Chad. According to Bricks News over here on X, it says just in, Iran confirms the death of the Supreme Leader Khomeini's daughter, granddaughter, son-in-law, and daughter-in-law. I don't know if they've confirmed the death of Khomeini yet. Okay, yes. No, they haven't. I don't believe Iran has confirmed it, but they have confirmed that the Supreme Leader's daughter, granddaughter, son-in-law, and daughter-in-law have passed away.
Always have their men and women, their lives on the line. It's time to get this over with. Right now, if I would have told you a day ago that Khomeini would be dead, that in fact the response has been fairly anemic, that the so-called moderate Arab countries would be ganging up on Iran, if I told you that so far as we know not a single American casualty is taking place, you'd tell me I'm drinking something or I'm smoking something, that it's not that simple. It's not that it's that simple. This is one of the most brilliant military operations, perhaps ever, when we learn all about it. We're having enormous success with our Israeli partners. The Arab countries have turned on Iran. What does Iran have? They don't have an air force. They don't have a navy. They've got missiles. We're dealing with their missiles. China's not coming to their help. Russia's not coming to their help. And we're going to say we need an off-ramp, that we're going to negotiate something? No. Finish it. Finish it. Victory or unconditional surrender. Then We can try and figure out the rest of it. It may not be perfect. It may be ugly. Who knows? But to answer your question, it's impossible to know every single thing that's going to take place. But I do know that victory or unconditional surrender make it a lot easier.
Yep, they sure do. There's no question about that.
Mark, thank you very much for joining us.
Click here to subscribe to
All right,
Fox
chat.
News YouTube page.
We're gonna move on and check out some of this right here.
regional
with regard to a peaceful settlement with regard to its nuclear program. In parallel, Iran has reduced its cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency, which for a long time now has not been able to guarantee the peaceful nature of the Iranian nuclear problem. For many months now, the agency has not had access to the most sensitive sites of the Iranian program. Transparency has still not been provided with regard to the Iranian stock of highly enriched at 6% uranium, which represents an amount which is potentially enough to produce around 10 explosive nuclear warheads. The situation is such and so serious that last August we launched the procedure to re-establish the Security Council sanctions in response to the clear non-respect by Iran of its commitments. Over and above its nuclear program, it's also the ballistic program and the regional actions taken by Iran that continue to constitute sources of major destabilization. Iran is continuing also a policy of systematic destabilization in countries of the region through the support that it provides to its regional allies, be that Hamas, Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, or previously the regime of Bashar al-Assad in Syria. We remain profoundly concerned by the suffering of the Iranian people, given the systematic and brutal repression that they have suffered for many years. For several weeks now, this people has seen an unleashing of unjustifiable state violence because it had the courage to demonstrate for a better life and for freedom. The Iranian people must be able to exercise their fundamental rights and must be able to freely decide their destiny. Mr. President, on the 28th of September,
yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to freely decide their destiny, chat. I think I might be cooked for them. Double tap the screen, shut a live out, chat. Let's check over here on X, see what's going on, man. Let's see what's going on over here with this shit. Nah, they're going to make me log in. Ain't that about a bitch? Ain't that about a bitch? Hold on, chat. I can't log in for y'all right now. We just got to do something. All right, chat, double tap the screen for me. They really want me to log in. I should have logged in before I got on live. That's my fault.
Yeah, Sandra, we just got this in literally 2 minutes ago, but Fox News can confirm that Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, is dead following Israeli strikes against his compound and location earlier today. A senior Israeli official confirming this news. Earlier tonight, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu describing the strikes not only against the supreme leader, but against much of the Iranian leadership. We know the breakdown in strikes focused on leadership for the Israelis and military targets initially for the Americans, and has since expanded as this campaign is expected to continue in the days and possibly even weeks ahead. As we're looking at the current situation across the region, we're also gathering new information on what the Israelis have been doing against Iran. We are told from a military official that the largest Israeli Air Force sortie against any country in the world was conducted this morning with 200 Israeli fighter jets targeting 500 different locations, dropping hundreds of
500 locations.
on a variety of different targets inside of Iran. the Israelis, while they were going after leadership, were also looking to neutralize the incoming ballistic missile fire that has targeted their country throughout the day. Sirens sounded across Israel throughout the afternoon, sending millions of people into bomb shelters. But again, the takeaway here, the Israelis have killed Iran's supreme leader. That is being confirmed to Fox News by a senior Israeli official. John, Sandra?
Okay, so Trey, you're obviously breaking that news for us just now. We'll be looking for reaction, obviously, on the ground in Iran and all over the Middle East region.
Absolutely. This is a major blow to the Iranian regime. Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, was not a figurehead. He was the man in charge of decisions as it relates to Iran's nuclear program, their expanding ballistic missile program, the hardline positions that made it impossible for the Americans to reach a diplomatic solution with the Iranians. And that led to a variety of conversations.
That's the thing. The Ayatollah's been there for 37 years. So the people around them that are finna step up, the military installations or whatever they're gonna do, they're gonna still have pretty much the same ideologies, but they'll be a lot less diplomatic. They'll be a lot less religious with it. All they'll know is military fucking might. Let's be honest with you. The region's cooked. It's cooked over there.
Stations behind the scenes, and I can also report, having just gotten off of a background call with a U.S. official, that there were attempts made by the Trump administration, really olive branches given to the Iranians at the negotiating table, asking them to find a solution on the nuclear issue. These other issues, their ballistic missile program, their support of regional proxies, and even the crackdown on protesters.
Because this is the thing, is the Ayatollah was the figurehead, the Ayatollah was the face, but this right here, this is a system that they have going. That's why they killed the people around him, his son-in-law, his granddaughter. They killed, look at who they killed, because they don't want that figurehead. They don't want that legacy. They don't want that lineage to live on. They killed his son-in-law, granddaughter, daughter, all of those people that they killed around him is because they do not want that lineage to live on, man. Have that
The Trump administration initially was willing to ignore those issues in order to get an agreement together on the nuclear program, and they simply were not willing to come to the table with reasonable demands. And despite the efforts by top negotiators that were sent to Oman and to Switzerland, whether it be Special Envoy Steve Witkoff or President Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner, who we know have been working across the region around the clock over the past year, not just on this issue, but also to get a ceasefire in Gaza and implement the new Board of Peace to create stability in the region. The understanding was that the Iranian regime and the supreme leader himself, these were the last hurdles for the region between stability and instability. And this decision was made overnight by President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to launch these extensive strikes across Iran in order to neutralize.
What's crazy is, chat, they're saying, Elon made a post earlier that Grok predicted that the U.S. would strike Iran on the 28th. Also, there are between five accounts, new accounts, they made $1.2 million betting that the U.S. would strike Iran on the 28th or before the 28th, whichever one, on or before the 28th. One account made like 500,000 and the other 500,000 was made between, 4 other accounts. This shit is crazy. They're gambling on fucking World War III, bro.
As that threat.
Not even gambling, insider trading on World War III.
President Trump overnight, when he made those remarks, said there could be American casualties. This is going to be a difficult fight because no war is easy, despite the fact that by tomorrow, the Israelis believe they will have air superiority over the skies of Iran. But we have seen the Iranian response today, not just here in Israel, with the ballistic missile fire targeting major population centers, including Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, and Haifa, but also Gulf countries, Bahrain, the UAE, and Qatar. A regional diplomat telling Fox News this evening that 8 people were injured in Qatar during one of the attacks. One of them is in critical condition. And so there are serious consequences to this counterattack by Iran. But again, tonight, the news that is breaking across the region, Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, according to a senior Israeli official,
what it do?
So, Trey, if that
Feather, what it do?
From the senior Israeli official is correct, the big question is what comes next.
Where are they making these bets, Tony, on Kalshi, or if you got a VPN on damn Poly Market, that's what they're doing it on, Kalshi and Poly Market.
The Ayatollah was 86 years old. I imagine that.
But they get real particular with the language. They'll fuck around and not pay you out.
In the theocracy of Iran, they have got clerics lined up to take that position in the same way that they have planes lined up over Ben Gurion on the landing approach. So what does that mean for the future there in terms of the theocracy if that were to continue?
Israel is looking east right now to the threat from Iran, but they're also looking north and south. Iran's largest proxies are Hezbollah, the Lebanese militant group in southern Lebanon, and the Houthis in Yemen. Hezbollah, according to an intelligence official I spoke to recently, still has thousands of rockets and missiles, and around half of them are within range of Israeli cities. And this is a serious threat still posed to Israel, despite the fact that the Israelis have degraded and destroyed much of the Hezbollah arsenal. It still poses a threat to Israel. You might remember, as we reported throughout the past 2.5 years, the Israelis decapitated the head of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, with a strike in the Dakhya neighborhood of southern Beirut. They went after the missile launching positions we saw on the ground there in southern Lebanon as the Israelis meticulously moved field by field and cave by cave to go after these positions that had been dug into the sides of mountains. But despite those efforts, this is an organization that had decades of support from the Iranian regime, and they were able to smuggle in missiles and rocket components that now make up what is left of that arsenal. And while it is a smaller arsenal than before, it is a threat. And Hezbollah in the past, just the past several days, has said that if Iran's supreme leader was targeted, they would get directly involved in this war. And so that is where Israel is focused right now. As it relates to the situation on the ground in Iran, we do have to step back amid all of this military action and these serious decisions that were made by President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. There is still an understanding about how the structure of the Iranian regime operates. Iran's supreme leader reportedly had already prepared successors. Iran's IRGC had already prepared successors for the top commanders of their military, understanding that if a war erupted, these would be the individuals targeted in such a conflict. And so this isn't over. This is actually just beginning. But it does raise questions about the future of the region and where things are headed once this does conclude.
Also crossing right now, a source familiar to Fox News is saying some Gulf partners are responding to Iran defensively and offensively. Trey, since the last time you joined us, top of the last hour, we got word that President Trump had sat down for this several-minute interview with Axios, in which he said he believes he has several off-ramps from Operation Epic Fury, talking about how long this could take. It could end in 2 or 3 days, said the president. He could tell the Iranians, see you again in a few years if you start rebuilding your nuclear and missile programs. This was about a 5-minute interview that the president conducted, but suggesting there could still be a diplomatic solution or opportunity, Trey.
Absolutely. This is the Peace Through Strength initiative that the president ran on when he was running for his second term. And when you look at the region, there are players in the region, including the Iranians, that often only understand strength. And that is a fact in the Middle East. And it's the reason that the Israelis have approached the conflicts that they are involved in the way that they have. As it relates to Iran and the possibility of a diplomatic off-ramp, if this does continue for a number of days and the regime is weakened, we have already heard in interviews that took place today from other outlets with Iran's foreign minister, who indicated at least a small interest in a diplomatic path, understanding that at the end of this, the Iranian regime had one major factor, one lever to pull, and that was their ballistic missile program. Now, while they still will fire ballistic missiles, likely in the days ahead, when they have no nuclear weapon, they have a limited supply of missile launchers, and their regional proxies have been decimated over the past 2.5 years, it raises a very significant question. What does Iran have left to fight with if this is an extended campaign that lasts for several days or several weeks?
Man, I'm not gonna lie, the military leader and the foreign minister said that they're more prepared than ever. What are we talking about? I mean, according to them, they said they're more prepared than ever. Supposed to be unveiling some new weaponry and shit, man. Let's see how that
They certainly
goes.
do pose a threat. They have anti-ship missiles. They have ballistic missiles. But their ability that they had And really, we should look at October of 2023, the ability that they had before the war began with Hamas launching the brutal massacre into southern Israel on the morning of October 7th. When you think back 2.5 years ago, this is a totally different Iranian regime. It is a weakened regime. It is a regime that cracked down on protesters, slaughtering, according to President Trump, 32,000 of their own civilians. That's behavior from a regime that is cornered, understanding that they have very limited options of how to respond. And so the days ahead will be quite interesting to see how the Israelis and the Americans move forward with strikes against Iran. But certainly in these situations, we have often seen temporary ceasefires when conflict erupts in order to get some sort of deal together. And just one concluding point here that I want to note, back during the 12-day war in June of 2025, as we reported here on the ground amid heavy incoming ballistic missile fire, that war was unfolding with casualties here in Israel, more than 24 people killed. The Israelis launching a series of strikes across Iran, trying to take out those air defense systems. But it was when President Trump ordered Operation Midnight Hammer that the Iranians suddenly responded just once against a base in Qatar, the Al Udeid base, and then in a way backed off. And it was President Trump, one man, who was able to decide the outcome of what comes next. And I remember a moment here on the ground. Israeli fighter jets were in the skies on their way to continue with the bombing campaign against Iran. And President Trump got on the phone and called off the strikes. When the president feels that there's an opportunity for a deal, there are options and off-ramps to be taken.
All right.
Yeah, that's crazy, chat. My thoughts and opinions on the situation, it's not over. I believe that we're gonna see other factions in other countries in the area, get involved. I think this will be an ongoing thing. I wonder who's gonna take over power. They're saying most likely a military leader. So with that being said, there's not gonna be stability in the region for a while. Yeah, y'all saying oil prices, gas prices are going up for sure. Most definitely. They're saying if oil hits $80 a barrel, gas will go to $3. They're saying if this conflict lasts longer than a couple weeks, few weeks, we could see $100 per barrel oil prices. It'll put gas, man, high as hell. You said also compare the last administration's justification to the Iraq war. Yeah, most definitely true. It's what's about to go on, man. Shit's going on, chat. Crazy, man. But yeah, chat, I just wanted to come bring y'all that news that the Ayatollah has died. I got a few things I gotta take care of, so we'll be back in the morning, man. If y'all want to join the Discord, we can get in the Discord, have a call, talk about these things. But as of right now, I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one, chat. Mods, drop the Discord, and I'll see y'all in the Discord. I'll probably be in there in about 10 minutes.